Arena, Kim, and I think everybody in the arena tonight knows what is at hand here for the Connecticut Sun. This would be a big step forward in what they've been trying to accomplish all season long.
Yeah, there is a palpable buzz. We talked to Kurt Miller before. They know what's on the line. They would love to clinch tonight and have a little less pressure in those final 2 games of the season.
First shot of the game is knocked down by Izzy Harrison, who has had a sensational season. She had a double-double in the last matchup between these two teams, which was August 18th here at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Third and final meeting of the season between the two clubs. They've split the first 2. That's Glory Johnson stepping into the jumper after the Sun turnover.
Bob, right away you see the length and athleticism of this Dallas team. They are big at all positions. Glory Johnson that time getting the deflection and the steal.
Alyssa Thomas reversing direction in the lane as she does so beautifully and ties the game at 2.
And she has been the engine, as they like to call her. So many different offensive weapons on this Connecticut Sun team. Her and Courtney Williams really have been stepping up of late.
Alicia Gray kicks it out. Agumba Wiley, her first shot of the game, drills home a 3. And what a streak she has been on.
She has owned the month of August. Seems like that is now seeping into September, and she could just hurt you anywhere on the floor. We'll see how they choose to defend her tonight.
Thomas defended well and threw it away. Good start here for Dallas. Agumba Wale stutter stepping, floating it up. Courtney Williams, the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. What an offensive streak she's on right now. Jonquil Jones launches the 3, doesn't go down, and Izzy Harrison pulls down the rebound.
Pace will be a big factor here. You see Dallas, they really like to slow it down, get it into the half court, and for Connecticut, Kurt Miller said they can't fall into that slow pace.
Kayla Davis misfires. The Sun down 3, just underway from the Mohegan. Jasmine Thomas firing ahead for Alyssa. Through the contact, and she'll go to the line to shoot a pair.
Here's another look at that. Alyssa Thomas getting to work early, down low. Great footwork, as we've talked about all season long. A little bit undersized down low, but that certainly does not stop her no matter who she's going up against in the post.
Thomas, a 50% free throw shooter on the season. In the win at New York last Friday, she scored the 2,000th point of her career. Had a 20-point game that night, her 7th 20-point game of the season. 1 out of 2 for Thomas, 2-point game. Dallas 2-13 on the road this year. They pulled off a couple of big upsets during their season. They're 10-21 overall, but a very dangerous matchup for the Sun. Shot clock down to 1. They may not beat it. Johnson put up the shot in time, but it was way off of the mark. And now the Sun trying to get into a rhythm here. A little bit of a stalled start for them as Strickland gives up for Thomas. Back for Strickland, fouled in the act of shooting a 3. Glory Johnson came out, and Shakina Strickland will get 3 free throws.
That is a coach's worst nightmare, Bob. I think you learned that in about the first grade. Never foul a jump shooter, never foul a 3-point shooter, especially Shakina Strickland. That's really all she's looking to do out there on the floor.
Yeah, 75% of Strickland's points come from 3-point range. Got a shot there momentarily of Brian Agler, who is the only coach, as most of WNBA fans know, to win titles with 2 different franchises, and also a mentor to Kurt Miller. Miller, a former assistant on Agler's staff in Los Angeles. Strickland, all 3, gives the Sun their first lead, 6-5 Connecticut. Sun have won 6 of their last 7, bidding for their 3rd straight win and trying to remain almost perfect here at home, Ken.
Yeah, they've just been really dominant, and they had a little bit of a stretch in the middle of the season where they dropped that one game at home against Minnesota, but they really got it back on track and looking to get that 15th victory here at Mohegan Sun tonight.
And if they were to do that, it would match the most home wins in franchise history. The initial miss there from Gray, then the whistle blew. It's going to be a Connecticut foul on Courtney Williams.
Here's a look at that nice cut down low by Alicia Gray, curling around that screen. Courtney Williams, a little bit of contact down low as she went up with it.
Last time she was in this building, she matched her career high with a 22-point game. This is the first free throw. And she's on a roll. You have a number of players in this game who are on real hot streaks. Of course, Agumba Wale leads the list, but we mentioned Courtney Williams has been in a groove for the Sun, and Gray over her last 6 games is averaging over 16 points a game. She ties the game at 6. Williams double team, gives for a slicing Jones, lays it up, lays it through. First 2 for Jones, gives the Sun the 2-point lead.
How do you stop that? That is like a freight train driving to the basket. Nice screen by Jonquil. Both defenders go with Williams. A beautiful roll and power move to the rim.
Agumba Wale got free, and Harrison found her. And we were talking to Kurt Miller before the game, Kim, and he was talking about one of the points of emphasis is keeping the defensive slippage at a minimum.
Right, as you're approaching this playoff stretch, there's certain things that just you want to be feeling comfortable with, you want to be feeling confident with, and it starts on the defensive end. So this is a really good team for them, despite Dallas having been eliminated for the playoffs. It forces you to be really strict defensively because you have to keep an eye on Agumba Wale, and you have to know who to help and how to play off of her. So this is a good defensive test for the Sun.
That's a beautiful feed from Courtney Williams to Melissa Thomas. Had it knocked away, though, and in a tie game, the Wings have it back. Here's Kayla Davis throwing it right through the hands on the sideline. Alicia Gray couldn't pull it in, so a turnover against Dallas. They're coming off a loss at Washington, or at home against Washington. That game, they only committed 6 turnovers.
They really stormed back in that fourth quarter. They were down big as Jonquil Jones finds the bottom of the net again down low. But Dallas, a team that's been eliminated, a team with a ton of injuries, they have continued to fight and fight. They had a big win against Chicago a couple games ago.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about some of the surprise wins that the Wings have pulled off this year, and that's one of them, that win at Chicago. And they won the season series against the Los Angeles Sparks. Brian Nagler, of course, the former coach in L.A. Agumba Wale, Trapp, Johnson. They're swinging around, and Davis open for the 3, and Courtney Williams snatches it. She spins, looks ahead, flings it for Jones, who puts up the 3. A little too strong. The ball gets knocked loose, and a little confusion on who should have possession here. You know, you just heard Isaac Barnett. We did. The audience probably did not. But you probably were able to lip read. He said, "My bad." And you like that. The officials get together and they get it right.
I don't know if I've ever heard a ref say, "My bad." I like that.
Shot clock at 10 as they feed Jones. Posting up, fading away. Off of the mark. All blue jerseys surrounding it. Here come the Wings trying to tie or maybe regain the lead. More than midway through this first quarter. Agumba Wale, tough shot. Rattled in and out. The ball gets knocked loose and it belongs to Connecticut. That's a dead ball to bring us to a timeout. 4:39 to go in this first quarter. Jonquil Jones off to a good start. Those are 2 of her 4. Well, the sensational rookie, Enrique Agumba Wale, is in the house tonight. You saw the streak, Kim. It started with the game at Phoenix. 23 points in that game, and she has been on fire ever since.
She has been torching opponents, and she's torching the best teams in the league. You see Washington, Chicago, Las Vegas. She's having big-time games against top-quality opponents, and there's a heated discussion going on right now, a lot of it on Twitter, social media, who should be Rookie of the Year, Arike or Nafisa Collier of the Lynx. And I got to say, Arike seems every game is making more and more of a case with her numbers. They have just been incredible.
Sun by 2. Jones has the last 4 for Connecticut. She'll have a chance to get a couple of more here as she goes to the free throw line.
Here's John Quell. I like the aggression she has shown early. She's been in some foul trouble lately in the past few games. She's been sidelined with the bench a little bit because of that. So I like the aggression that she's coming out with. She looks comfortable. She's going to the basket as strong as she can.
That was her former teammate, Christina Nigwe, who fouled her. Mid-season trade between the Sun and the Wings with Teresa Plaisance coming to Connecticut. She is out tonight. Plaisance has been experiencing back trouble a good part of the season, and she's not available tonight. Rachel Banham is available as Izzy Harrison knocks down the jumper to make it a 2-point game.
And that bucket from Harrison is the impact of Arike Agumbawale. The 2 defenders jumped out on her so hard and so far, leaving Harrison wide open to knock down the J.
That was a near turnover on the Sun, and instead it turns into a Dallas foul. Anigwe has come into the game in less than a minute. She's picked up a couple of fouls.
And that's not what you want for the Wings, who we've talked about it. They don't have a huge rotation right now, just 9 active players because of all of the injuries.
Yeah, we were talking about Plaisance being out with the back injury as Williams gives it up for Strickland. Backs up, 3-pointer off the back rim. Rebound Thomas, but it's going to be a loose ball foul as Thomas clearly pushed off. It'll go back to Dallas. Plaisance out, and you have some banged-up Connecticut players, but don't bring any injury woes to Dallas if you want to discuss that, because they have a boatload of players that are unavailable.
It's really incredible. Just they've been in games. They haven't gotten in the win column too much as of late, but every game has been close with such a young core that's on the floor right now.
Shot clock under 10. Johnson. Anigwe, first shot of the game from her is good as she got the bounce off of the rim that she's very familiar with.
Anigwe, good job of creating some distance with those big power moves and a little bit of fadeaway over Jones.
Sun shooting only 33% in this first quarter. The pace favors Dallas so far early, Kim.
Absolutely, and you see how much of an emphasis the defense on Agumbawale is. Jasmine Thomas has the first assignment, but it is a complete team effort on her.
Little pinball action here. Strickland finishes the play with a 3. The ball was bouncing every which way, and Strickland picked it up and said, I'll knock it down.
That's typical Connecticut Sun basketball, Bob. One of my keys coming into this one, we're making the extra pass, and that certainly was. Courtney Williams could have taken a layup, instead finds one of the top 3-point shooters in the league.
Good reach in there by Glory Johnson. Impressive steal, trailing Anigwe. Just lost the handle. Goes back to Connecticut. So the Sun trying to separate a little bit here. You see the second turnover there on Dallas. 3 on Connecticut. First of 2 straight regular season games or I should say 2 straight home games to end the regular season as Strickland is starting to heat up now. Back-to-back threes from Strickland. 18-12 Connecticut suddenly had their largest lead. And Brian Agler senses that shift of momentum, so he calls for timeout over on the Dallas bench. So off of that bang-bang play, Strickland hit the three a few moments ago that you're taking a look at. And that was a good setup by Courtney Williams, as you had mentioned. The ball gets bounced this way, that way, and that time the luck of the bounce was on Connecticut's side, and Shakina Strickland knocked down the three. She has two in this game, as she is among the league leaders. We'll be seeing the league leader on Friday night. I mentioned a moment ago that the Connecticut Sun have 2 home games left to close out the regular season before ending on the road at Indiana. But we'll see Allie Quigley on Friday. Leilani Mitchell, Kelsey Mitchell, and Renee Montgomery round out that top 5. But Strickland has an outside chance here. Now it's 70, actually better than an outside chance. She has a good chance to finish as the franchise leader, single season three-pointers.
We saw her win that three-point shooting competition out at the All-Star weekend in Las Vegas over Kayla McBride, upsetting the hometown fans there. But I mean, you've seen it, her ability to come off of screens, to move without the ball and be shot ready is as good as anyone in the league.
Carly Samuelson is into the game. With all the injuries that Dallas is enduring right now, they signed Samuelson as the ball comes our way off of the deflection. You got it, Kim?
Got it. I got the assist on that one.
Still have the hands, the good hands.
I'm in playoff mode. I'm ready.
Well, the Connecticut Sun are hoping to wrap up. Would be a huge step for them toward playoff success. As Agumba Wale steps back. She has cooled off. Currently at 5 points. 2 for 6 in the field. But we mentioned it at the top. We'll mention it throughout the broadcast. This is just a huge night for the Sun. If they can get a win tonight, they'll clinch a top 2 finish in the WNBA standings, and that gets you the double bye. As the deflection again ends up going Connecticut's way, as Jones had it deflected down to Thomas, and she laid it in.
Interior passing and the ability to make that play because of the patience of Jones in the post. She didn't make her move right away. 3 defenders came her way. Beautiful backdoor cut from Alyssa Thomas.
Gumbawale from the left side. 6-point game. Gumbawale now has 7. Under a minute to go in this first quarter. Rhea Holmes off of the bench for Connecticut. Thomas floating it backdoor. Jones in position, lays it through. Alyssa Thomas facilitating and Jones finishing.
Christina Nigwe petitioning the official, a little pushing off there, but unfortunately for her, that's probably something she's used to after heavy practice against Jonquil early in the season.
Holmes almost out of steal. Shot clock 5. Agumbawale driving past Thomas and laying it in. Burst of speed from Agumbawale.
And that time, Jasmine Thomas just way too open in her stance. Just allowed Agumbawale to get that first step in a straight line to the rim.
Shot clock off, 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Thomas streaking down the lane, and Izzy Harrison gets called on the reach-in. So Jasmine Thomas will go to the line, and she is going to be looking for her first points of the game. Before the game, Jasmine Thomas was honored with the WNBA Cares Community Assist Award for the month of August for her work on behalf of breast health awareness. Something that is very near and dear to her. Her mom, a breast cancer survivor. Thomas hits the first free throw. So her first point makes this a 7-point Connecticut lead as we wind it down here in the first quarter. And Thomas makes them both. Gray off the mark on that last shot of the first quarter, and the Connecticut Sun looking to clinch a top 2 finish. 8-point lead at the end of one. The Connecticut Sun are back home after a 2-1 road trip that improved their road record to 8-8 on the season. But you look at what they've done at home, Kim. An extraordinary season inside the Mohegan. As I mentioned earlier, a 15th home win tonight would match the all-time franchise record. They have a chance to have the best home record in the history of this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to play well in this building. Anytime I've been here, the crowd always shows up. They're loud, they're energetic, but you do want to look at that road record as well, because once you get into the playoffs, you're home, then you're away, then you're back home, then you're back away, and you have to be ready and prepared, have your body ready, mentally be ready to win on the road in the playoffs.
Jasmine Thomas the miss, Jones the cleanup, it drops through. Jonquel Jones, the top offensive rebounder in the league. A couple of more off of the glass to make it a 10-point Connecticut lead.
That was just too easy for JJ. Nobody blocked her out. There were a couple blue jerseys, but nobody got physical.
Shot clock is at 1, and Agumbawale didn't know it. Shot clock violation. Well, we talked about tightening up at the defensive end. The Sun do it right there as we check in with Robin Brown.
Well, Bob, most of that early pace dictated by Dallas until that kick out to Shakina Strickland. But most of Kurt Miller's last huddle saying he wants them to push the tempo, but the emphasis being on defense, saying we need to keep eyes on Enrique and Agumbawale, and they did that just right there.
Alyssa Thomas in the lane gets it to drop, and the run continues for the Connecticut Sun. A 16-4 run, Kim, since that Shakina Strickland three-pointer. Robin just referred to it. That was the kick out from Courtney Williams. That seemed to trigger things for the Connecticut Sun.
And to go off Robin's point, Coach Miller said he's going to be giving Enrique different looks. We saw Jasmine Thomas starting on her. Now you have Bria Holmes, who brings a little bit more length.
Couldn't haul in that long pass. And it goes back to the Dallas Wings. Haul in long pass. Reminder that football season is upon us. Enrique Agumbawale will be an interested observer. Her brother just had a great camp with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he is very much a part of their rotation in the backfield. Former running back, standout at Wisconsin. A couple of new players in the game for Dallas. Megan Gustafson right there, and also Brooke McCarty-Williams on the floor for Dallas. Letitia Heidemann just checked in for the Sun. We'll lead it by 12. This game was tied at 12. It's been all Connecticut since. Once again, Dallas loses track of the shot clock. Lack of focus there. Brian Agler can only look on, and not much you can say.
And that's just a lack of communication, whether the players on the floor, whether the players on the bench are close enough to be yelling that out. That just can't happen, especially not twice in a row, and neither can that.
Well, that was a easy pass right there for Alyssa Thomas.
No toll required.
The lead balloons to 14 for Connecticut.
Now we see the third defender on Agumbawale. This time it's Natisha Heidemann.
Dallas has yet to score in the quarter. Williams, Jones, Thomas couldn't haul it in. That's a turnover against Connecticut.
Now just a little bit too tight there to try and throw that one inside. Alyssa Thomas already had about 3 defenders collapsed in on her. That time you probably want to swing it around and maybe get her to repost.
Agumbawale has 9, but her team has nothing so far in this quarter. Well, that drought is over as Glory Johnson drives for 2. That ends an 8-0 Connecticut run. Heidemann, three-pointer. She was fouled. The reach-in will send Heidemann to the line to shoot 3. Agumbawale knocked her down, and Heidemann to the line.
And again, second time of this first half that Dallas has fouled on a three-point shot attempt. Enrique, I don't think in total agreement with that call, but nonetheless, Natisha Heidemann and her fire shoes, I gotta say, are at the line. Some good LeBrons there.
Yeah, those are impressive. Can't really get a good look from the shot, but you don't really need a good look. There we go.
There we go. Look at those. Natisha always brings the heat. She's very flashy with the shoes, as she was with her entire college career at Marquette, that I had a pleasure of covering her a fair amount, so it's great to see her on this stage now.
Heidemann actually was with the Sun in training camp, was released, signed with Atlanta, was waived by Atlanta, ended up back in Connecticut, and she has found a home here. Movavi will go to the line to shoot a pair. So the Connecticut Sun trying to wrap up a top 2 finish and a double bye into the playoffs, and it would just be huge for the Sun to do that after a couple of second-round ousters in a row at the hands of the Phoenix Mercury. The current playoff system used by the WNBA, and I think it's great, has been in place since 2016. And in 16, the top 2 seeds met in the finals. In 17, the top 2 seeds met in the finals. Last year it was 1 versus 3, Seattle versus Washington. With Seattle winning that series. Who knows? Maybe 1 versus 2 this year would be Washington versus Connecticut, but that's getting way ahead of things. But the Sun certainly have one of the big goals in focus here tonight as Morgan Tuck misses the runner. They're well aware of what is at stake here tonight. Nice steal by Heidemann, then Movavi the hold.
Yeah, that was actually John Quill Jones who came from behind the play, trailing it at 6'6" with the long arms, taps it right into the hands of Natisha.
Second foul at Movavi. We were talking to Kurt Miller earlier, and we were asking him about, meeting that goal, achieving that goal of getting the double bye in the playoffs. And he said, of course, it was one of the overarching themes of the season, but once you get into the season, everything is game to game, and you just take care of the task at hand. But he said this week, knowing what could be accomplished tonight, that has been a major focus. As Heidemann puts up a 3.
Right. Kurt Miller said now we can reach out and really grab that. So while he's right, you don't want to be overthinking that topic too much in the middle of the season when you need to worry about improving and staying tight to your game-to-game strategy. But right now, with a huge opportunity ahead of them, that is surely top of mind for every coach, every player. I would say the fans in here as well.
Under 6 to go here in the first half. Under 10 on the shot clock. Traveling violation on Morgan Tuck. And that'll bring us to a break. Took almost 3 minutes for the Dallas Wings to score in this quarter. That was Glory Johnson with their first 2, but it's all Connecticut so far. Well, there are the league standings, and there are no more playoff spots to be had. The 8 you see there are the 8 that are going to the postseason. A lot of action at the top. Of course, Washington and Connecticut jockeying for position at the top, and LA, Las Vegas, Chicago, plenty to play for there. Remember, 3 and 4 get that first round bye. Now, Washington and Connecticut, if they were to finish in a tie, the Sun would get the top seed because they won the season series.
And that's something to keep an eye on for the Sun, because we were asking Kurt Miller, if you were to win tonight or win the next game, when do you start managing the minutes of your starters? And he said, we don't really know, because we're going to be playing at the same time as the Mystics, and we're going to be playing for that home court advantage in the finals if we were both to get there. So certainly a lot to monitor for all of these coaches in the final few games. A lot of moving parts, a lot to still be determined.
The Mystics play Dallas on Friday, while the Sun will be playing Chicago. And then the Sun will be at Indiana on Sunday. And the Mystics will be playing Chicago on Sunday as Courtney Williams gets ready to go to the line. So there is a lot going on here as we head into the final weekend of the WNBA regular season.
Yeah, Bob, I saw that on Sunday, the final day, all 12 teams are playing at the same time. 4 o'clock Eastern, 6 games. So there will be a lot of action. Get your laptops, tablets, phones, 3 TVs. Got to have it all set up to see who's going to end up where.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. Baseball implemented that several years back, where every team on the last Sunday of the regular season plays at the same time. And it does add to the excitement of the day. Almost midway through the second quarter here. If you are just joining us, the Sun, with a win tonight, will clinch a top 2 finish in the WNBA and assure themselves of a double bye in the playoffs. They're bidding for their 9th straight home win, looking to improve to 15-1 in this building. Alicia Gray in a double team got off the shot, and she was fouled. She hit it. Play by Gray. Mentioned earlier she had a career high 22 last time she played in this building.
Alicia Gray, and we've talked about a few players who have been on a nice tear. It's not just Arike Ogunbowale. Alicia Gray has as well. Her last 6 games, over 16 points per game, shooting 50% from 3. So she's one of the players who's really elevating and a young core piece of this Wings team that's going to look to make some more noise next season as they hopefully get Skylar Diggins back and some more of their injured players.
Old-fashioned three-point play for Gray. Yeah, this is a franchise that is not going to be down very long as the Sun turned it over. Gumbawale. Anigwe swings it for Davis. Not that time for Gray, but Izzy Harrison, good offensive rebound. Reset, and Davis fires. Crowd wanted a foul. Goes back to Connecticut. Keep in mind that Dallas was down by as many as 23 points, albeit at home. A little bit more of an advantage there for them. But they were down 23 against Washington on Saturday, and they made that a game. Williams, tough shot, got it back and threw it away. They're too anxious there.
Courtney Williams, a little bit of a rough start for her here today after being named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, but that's the luxury of the Connecticut Sun. There's so many offensive weapons. Someone can have 3 straight 20-point games and then get a 0, and somebody else is stepping up with 20.
Anigwe from the foul line. Sun have been playing some pretty good defense tonight.
And you already mentioned it, Coach Miller. That is their focus. They are not really just thinking specific games right now. They're thinking what play is going to help us in the playoffs. John Cole Jones, that's a playoff game-winning play right there. But he mentioned the importance of identifying mistakes in these final few games that say, if we do that in the playoffs, we're going to get beat. So a lot of sharp defensive focuses for the Connecticut Sun in these final regular season games.
Jones now has 10. Shot clock under 5. Agumbawale has to force it up. And it goes back to Connecticut. Jonquel Jones, good game, 10 points. Dealing, though, with some stress right now. She's a native of the Bahamas. And, of course, we all know what Hurricane Dorian wrought in the Bahamas. And Robin Brown has more on Jonquel Jones and that situation with her in her homeland.
Yes, Bob, national news this week about Hurricane Dorian as Courtney Williams drains that jumper. But as the hurricane has just destroyed the Bahamas, and for those of us who know that JJ is a native of the island, she decided yesterday she was going to do anything in her power to help the island, and she set up a GoFundMe page. In less than 24 hours, over $22,000 have been raised, and players around the league, including Brittany Griner, donating even $1,000. Just absolutely incredible.
Under 3 to go in the first half, and the Connecticut Sun have held Dallas to just 22 first half points so far. And obviously, as you've mentioned, Kim, is one of their big themes as they get closer to the postseason, and defense is at a premium.
Now, this has been an important start for them because sometimes this can be a little bit of a trap game. You look at the standings and you're looking ahead to the playoffs. Well, that hasn't been the case. They are focused on winning this one here tonight first, as everybody is getting involved for the Sun offense.
That was Morgan Tuck contributing. The lead balloons to 18 for the Sun, who lost to Dallas earlier in the season. They beat them here last month. Reset here for the Wings. Gumbawale looking for space. Gray instead.
Bob, we talked to the break. I think both of us agreed that the Sun has really tightened up the defense on Enrique Gumbawale. She had some early success, but now she's coming at double team. She's being forced to pass out, and she's taking some tougher shots than she was early on.
Tuck gives it up. Kurt Miller wouldn't reveal the secret sauce before the game when he was talking about what they intended to do with Gumbawale, but obviously she is a point of emphasis on all scouting reports and draws a lot of attention, and that benefits other players in this Dallas team. Glory Johnson has been one of them. Here's Courtney Williams streaking to the lane. Tipped up and through by Jonquel Jones. Beautiful play there by Jones as she fouled it up, and that was a highlight offensive rebound and tip in.
Those were some of the quickest feet we'll see in the league between Jasmine Thomas, Courtney Williams. They were up the floor in the snap of a finger. I think they could give you a run for your money out there, Bob.
I didn't know you were so sarcastic.
No, I've heard you got the speed.
Yeah.
And here's some defense on Gumbawale. She's very crafty with trying to break through that double team, and that time Jasmine Thomas getting called on the reach in, but that's why Enrique Gumbawale just puts so much pressure on the defense. You have to be tight to your schemes, you have to react, and then she's able to draw fouls just breaking through a screen like that or going to the rim.
She is trying to get to 20 points for the 9th consecutive game, and the company she is already in and would be in is incredibly impressive. Diana Taurasi holds the record, 13 straight 20-point games. Brianna Stewart, Cynthia Cooper, Maya Moore, Tina Charles, they're all on that list. And Gumbawale has 12 in this first half. Williams, the three, knew it was off the mark. She followed it up and runs it down and keeps her balance as well. And the crowd appreciates it as Courtney Williams goes for Tuck, and the three is good. Courtney Williams did it all, including setting up Morgan Tuck for the three. And the Connecticut Sun lead is now at 21.
Here you go. This is just the type of play. You didn't see the hustle play before that, but her hustle, unselfish extra pass to Morgan Tuck. But Courtney Williams, just the type of playmaker that can elevate the energy, the momentum of her team. of her arena. You see all the players on the bench, and heading into the playoffs, sometimes you need a play or two like that to tip a game in one direction or the other. And Courtney Williams, just a lot of intangibles for this team that don't necessarily show up in the stats.
Jonquel Jones following that foul on the Nigwe hold. Movavi with a tough shot. She now has 14.
What's so impressive about her numbers and her performances is that every single team keys on her defensively, yet somehow she is able to continue to keep scoring and staying relentless and staying aggressive. And especially to do that as a rookie is incredibly impressive.
Movavi has 14 for Dallas, but a big steep drop-off for Dallas after that.
And you just see she has such an offensive arsenal of weapons. That time, just the little shake and bake coming off the screen, able to blow by the defender. Her pull-up game is second to none. And that time, she's able to go all the way to the rim. But when you play this Dallas Wings team, she is the start and really the end of a team's defensive factor.
Well, for the Connecticut Sun, it's Jonquel Jones who is getting it done again. She has 14 points, 6 rebounds, and you see her season's totals, and she leads the league with 9.9 rebounds per game. She's a team's leading scorer, 14.4 per game, but leading the league in rebounds, offensive rebounds, and also in blocks, and she's an MVP candidate for sure. I don't know if she'll win the MVP, but she's in the conversation, and she is a big part of what the Sun hope to do in the postseason, maybe the integral part, although that you mentioned it earlier, there are so many different answers on this Connecticut Sun team. Jones has been the focal point because she put up great numbers, but there are a number of players on this Connecticut Sun team who contribute on any given night. Jones taking Gustafson to the hole. Hit the shot, and she was fouled.
Jonquel just looks comfortable tonight. We mentioned past few games, she's been frustrated. She's been in some foul trouble. Obviously, she has some stuff going on a personal level, as Robin mentioned. But tonight, she's comfortable. She's relaxed. She's having fun out there.
She's having a great first half. Now has 18 points as we wind it down here in the first half. And the Sun are halfway home to what is a big goal of theirs, to clinch a top 2 finish and get that double bye in the playoffs. This game was tied at 12 way back midway through the first quarter. It has been all Sun since then. And they have a 23-point lead here at the half. Sun are trying to improve to 15-1 at home. And they're halfway home to getting there, and Jonquel Jones is halfway through another sensational game, and she's standing by right now with Robin.
Jonquel, 18 first half points for you, all in the paint or at the line. What advantages are you finding in the key?
I'm just trying to be aggressive. I think they're very focused on all of my teammates because everybody's just been playing so well. So I think I've been able to get to the rim and basically get some offensive rebounds and stuff like that.
With everything going back home in the Bahamas, how are you able to maintain your focus knowing that even your family being evacuated this week?
Yeah, I just use it as an outlet. I try not to focus on it when I'm on the court, and this is the time for me. And then after I get up the court, I'm trying to work for everybody home in the Bahamas. So I'm just trying to let my play speak for itself.
Thank you, JJ. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bob?
Okay, Robin. Jonquel Jones, 18 points, 6 rebounds, and a 23-point lead for the Connecticut Sun as they try to wrap up that top 2 finish. And we're back with halftime coverage from the Mohegan right after this. Here, as we get ready to begin the second half, a 23-point lead as the Sun bid for their 9th straight home victory, look to improve to 15-1 at home. And as we have been mentioning throughout, with a win here tonight, would clinch a top 2 finish in the WNBA standings and certainly still having a shot at the number 1 seed overall. But for that to happen, they need a little bit of outside help. Right now, the Suns just trying to take care of their own business, and it was a slow start tonight for the Connecticut Sun. Game was tied at 12 midway through the first quarter. Then the Sun would outscore Dallas 37-14 over the remaining 15 minutes of that first half. And as we start the second half, we can shift to the other side and wonder out loud here, what kind of a response do you think we'll get from Dallas here in the second half? They can fight back, or maybe the Sun has broken them. What do you expect?
I think the Sun just kind of put the brakes on Dallas's offense altogether, and I think they've frustrated Agumbawale a little bit, although she's still putting up big numbers. But it's going to have to start with some intensity and stops on the defensive end for them. The Connecticut Sun have just been so efficient offensively, shooting over 50%, really moving the ball well and sharing the love with different players.
The 26 first half points the Sun allowed, second fewest they've allowed in the first half this season. They held Atlanta to 25 points in the win earlier this season. There's another deflection. Then the foul will send Jonquel Jones to the line. And the Sun have been playing some good basketball, Kim, and they've also been getting a few lucky bounces in this game.
Sometimes you need a few of those. We'll take a look at it here. It was actually a nice curl, but an errant pass over the top. But Jonquel Jones seems to have been in the right place at the right time. A couple of instances so far tonight, gotten some easy garbage points. And again, we talked about it earlier. She just looks very comfortable and relaxed out on the floor tonight, now with 19 points.
Well, she makes both free throws. So for the 5th time this season, Jonquel Jones has herself a 20-point game, and she still has an entire half to play here. There's some good D again from the Sun. Shot clock down to 2, and that bails them out. Bails Dallas out. They'll get to the free throw line. Alyssa Thomas picked up this foul, Kim.
And this is just an unfortunate whistle. Definitely came down on the arm, no question asked. But you had just said it, a great defensive possession. And then to bail them out with just 2 seconds on the shot clock. Those are the type of plays that Curt Miller, he said he's, had some real honest talks with this team. That's a play that could beat you in a playoff game. So those are just little things that he'll probably like to go back and sharpen up and rewatch the tape and say, hey, you could have done this here. We don't want to do that here. Just a lot of focus on what's ahead if they were to get the win tonight, which it looks like they have positioned themselves well to do so.
Strickland bullet pass for Thomas. The leaner doesn't go down. Glory Johnson shuffles it ahead for Davis. Crowd thought there might have been a turnover there. Agumbawale off balance, doesn't go. Thomas keeps it alive and now keeps the bounce. Good ball movement for the Suns. Strickland releases the 3. And Johnson couldn't corral it, so the Sun will keep it.
Shakina Strickland with a funny look on her face after that one. I don't think she's too used to shooting many air balls, and say she could probably count on one hand in their WNBA career.
Jones sets the pick. Courtney Williams, no look in the corner for Jasmine Thomas, who hits the 3. Courtney Williams, another assist. And Jasmine Thomas from long range.
That was a great decision by Williams. At first, I thought she actually missed Jonquel Jones on the roll, but then another defender had been sucked into the paint to open up that 3 for Jasmine Thomas.
That's the first personal foul on Jones.
Here's another look at that. Courtney Williams just turning the corner on that screen, drawing the defenders in and recognizing really good decision making by Williams on the kick out.
5th assist for Williams. Well, Gumbawale showing off the entire arsenal there. Good footwork, beautiful touch, 54-29.
That looks like her favorite player, Kobe Bryant, there, one leg fadeaway. And if you were just a casual basketball fan that had never heard of her, no one would ever think she's a rookie with the way she plays, the confidence, the way she has taken the reins on this Dallas Wings offense. It's just incredible, her confidence level and her aggression.
She has essentially been the Dallas offense in this game. She has 16. The next high scorer for Dallas is Izzy Harrison with 5. Alyssa Thomas, there's the spin, there's the kick out. Williams penetrating, goes to the line to shoot a pair. Courtney Williams, reigning WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
Here's another look. Courtney Williams, nice ball fake on the attack to the rim. And I think Connecticut has really put Dallas on their heels defensively. Connecticut is dictating the offense. They're doing whatever they want. And Dallas needs to make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable, be a little bit more disruptive. Right now, Connecticut is doing whatever they please.
2 out of 2 for Williams. Over her last 5, averaging over 20 points per game. Tonight she has 7. Agumbawale has her pass tipped by Jasmine Thomas. It'll stay at the Dallas end. Wings 10-21 on the season. They have been beset by injuries all year long. Kayla Thornton out tonight with an ankle injury. Amani McGee-Stafford out with an ankle injury, to name just a couple. As Izzy Harrison hits that fade. Of course, they've been out without Skylar Diggins-Smith. All season long. Here's Williams giving for Thomas. Thomas, the pump fake, and lays it through.
Bob, something Kurt Miller said to us as they get ready for this playoff stretch, offensively a focus is seeing the schemes defenses are throwing at them. And that time, it was a beautiful reaction. They didn't have anything off the first screen and roll. They pulled it back out, set up a second one, and that time they had an easy roll to Alyssa Thomas. So those are the things he's looking for, reacting to what the defense is throwing at them, seeing different situations, making adjustments. So far, they've looked really sharp on both ends.
And sharp is the operative word as you play these last 3 games of the regular season. You want to sharpen things up and get everything ready to go for the postseason, which for the Connecticut Sun, if they win tonight, will not begin until a week from Tuesday. That would be a huge benefit for a team like every other team right now at this point in the season that could, rest and recuperate. A lot of nagging injuries for the Connecticut Sun. Again, what every team goes through, as Williams with the blow by, the reverse doesn't go down. That would have brought the house down.
Ooh, that would have been pretty. Beautiful move, and then the reverse up and under, just couldn't get it to drop in.
Lori Johnson trying to get her game going. She had 20 in the loss at home against Washington on Saturday. And she's been very quiet so far tonight. She took that drive with a purpose, didn't she? That foul on Alyssa Thomas stops the clock. 6:03 to go here in the third quarter. And the Sun with a 25-point lead. They led it by 23 at the half, and not a pleasant sight for Dallas. Johnson a little banged up after that last Alyssa Thomas foul.
Already so many injuries, and for them, they're obviously eliminated for the playoffs, which, they haven't shown any signs of not competing or playing hard, but you don't want to have another player go down. Hopefully it's just a little bang up for Glory Johnson, one of the veterans who's playing with a very young core group right now with all of the injuries.
Yeah, they had only 9 players available, and could be 8 if Johnson can't shake it off. We were talking about some of those injuries for Dallas. We didn't even get to all of them. We mentioned Skylar Dickens-Smith gave birth in April, so she's not been around this season. And Taylor Hill played in 4 games and then underwent knee surgery in June. Azare Stevens out with the foot injury. On and on and on for Dallas.
It's a lot to swallow, but it really makes you give even more credit to the players who are still around, because they have not let up. They've played hard. They've competed against the top teams in the league.
Good job by Anigwe. The former Connecticut Sun sticks with it. Williams for Jones. That's a 3, and Anigwe pulls down the rebound. Dallas trying to get a second wind here as we approach the midway point of this third quarter. Agumbawale will go to the line to shoot a pair. So a little bit of a lull for the Connecticut Sun here in the third quarter.
Jasmine Thomas, I thought this was as good of defense as you could play on Enrique Agumbawale. I did not see a foul or any contact on that shot attempt. I'm with Jasmine. Before the whistle blew, I was really about to compliment her. They had isolated that entire side for Enrique. She kept her in front. She stayed attached to her and contested the shot. I didn't see a foul call there, so I'm tipping my hat to Jasmine on that one.
Well, Agumbawale is close to keeping that streak intact, trying to extend her streak of scoring at least 20 in the game to 9 straight. She's coming off back-to-back 30-point games. Alyssa Thomas traveled.
A little bit of a strange series of events there. I thought maybe it could have been a little double dribble, but it maybe a little power dribble. Just kind of an awkward play.
Well, Dallas on a modest 6-0 run here, trying to chip away a little bit as Greg is up for Anigwe, powers away to the rim. Alyssa Thomas head up, behind the back, down the lane, spinning, tapping. Courtney Williams kick out Jasmine Thomas. The 3 is good. The Sun do it again. Beautiful ball movement and awareness. And the 3-pointer knocked down by Jasmine Thomas.
Alyssa Thomas, a little positionless basketball. She said, I don't care what the score is. I don't care if I'm a forward. I'm leading this break. I'm going to do some behind-the-back moves, some spin moves. Alyssa Thomas beautifully setting up that play for her teammates.
So as the Dallas Sun were starting to make a modest run back at the Sun come up with plays like that. 4:21 to go in the third quarter, and it's all Sun in this game as they try to nail down a top 2 finish in the final WNBA standings. They're short of no worse than second if they win this game tonight. Be interesting to see how Kurt Miller employs his bench as we get close to the start of the fourth quarter. We got starters out there right now. Courtney Williams leans into a jumper, knocks it down, and Courtney Williams now has 9 points, and she also has a career-high 7 assists in this game.
As well as 7 rebounds, Bob, and she's only 5'7", 5'8", and she's just a player who has a will to do whatever the team needs on the court, and we're seeing that tonight.
So she is in the conversation for, if you're a baseball fan, you watch their website, they'll put up a no-hitter alert when there's one in progress, and there was one earlier in the week with Justin Verlander. But we have a triple-double alert here in this game.
You never want to jinx it, but it's It's certainly up for grabs. And Bob, I'm surprised you still are a baseball fan after that horrid Mets loss last night.
Let's talk basketball. As Alicia Gray hits a couple. They bounce back today, Ken.
It's all that matters, right? All you can ask for.
63-39 Connecticut. 3:35 to go in this third quarter. Jones wide open three. Off of the deflection, the Sun have a reset. Shakina Strickland and Courtney Williams soars for the rebound and taps it out to Jasmine Thomas. Boy, she is energized tonight, but then again, she's always that way as Jones bounces for Alyssa Thomas. Missed it. Movavi, coast to coast. She's tripped. Almost went down.
Enrique Ogunbowale, as we saw so much during her time at Notre Dame, just a one-woman fast break here. A good job of stepping around Shakina Strickland, who was in position for a charge, but able to almost Euro step around her and draw the foul.
Ogunbowale's first free throw is good. And if she makes this free throw, she will have 20 points, making it 9 consecutive games in which she has had 20 or more. One of only 7 players in the history of this league with a streak as long as that.
Wow. I mean, the numbers she has put up, incredible for any player, but as a rookie, the Rookie of the Year race is getting tougher and tougher.
Jasmine Thomas, long distance. Long two to make it 65-41. And she's the only rookie to ever have that kind of a streak. Lizzie Harrison, nice step through. And the Sun have it back. 2.5 to go in this third quarter, and Ogunbowale reached in from behind. 4 team fouls now on Dallas.
It's such an advantage to have a forward that has the ability to grab the rebound, get it out of the rim, and just take it up the floor and lead the break. And we've seen Alyssa Thomas do that so much this season, but it makes it tough on the defense because a lot of times her player isn't keeping up with her, and then someone's open.
Jump ball. Samuelson, the tie-up of Alyssa Thomas. Courtney Williams gets a break. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Not a bad line for Courtney Williams. We'll have a jump ball following this play. If Connecticut wins the jump ball, they'll have 11 to shoot. 2:19 to go in the quarter. Violation on the jump ball on Dallas. So we'll go to Connecticut. Sun have won 6 of their last 7 as Shakina Strickland drives and rattles home a 2-pointer. You don't see too many 2-pointers from Shakina Strickland.
There was a lot of off-ball movement on that took the attention away from Strickland. John Paul Jones was moving on the other side, and that allowed Strickland to make the move to the rim.
Alyssa Thomas, what a beautiful move down the lane. The long step from Thomas and finished it with the lay-in. And the Sun have blown this one wide open late in the third quarter. Turnaround for Anigwe. Ends a 6-0 Connecticut run.
Alyssa Thomas should start her own cardio or fitness line because I don't think she ever gets tired. How many times have we seen her just in this quarter alone grab the rebound and sprint up the floor?
Rachel Banham on the floor, back from the ankle injury. Missed 5 games. Alyssa Thomas, beautiful pass into the pocket for Jonquel Jones, who lays it through. Wow, beautifully executed.
And again, who was at the center of making that happen? Alyssa Thomas, drawing the double, reading the defense. If those two get going in a rhythm, good luck to the defense facing them in the playoffs.
Jones now has, Jonquil has 20 in this game. They have not updated her point total. Let's see. We'll check that in a second as the long range shot does not go down. 71-43, Connecticut 22 for Jones. Winding it down here in the third quarter at the Mohegan Sun. Gumbawale gets it to drop, and she was fouled. So Gumbawale adds to her total. 22, possibly 23. Bamman commits the foul. We talked about her streak of consecutive 20-point games, but we also mentioned earlier her last two games have been 30-point games, including 30 in the loss against Washington, and then she had 35 previous game, and she's had a couple of 35-point games this year, and that one came in that win at Chicago. Here's Alyssa Thomas again, the beautiful setup, this time finding Brianna Jones. One Terp taking care of another, and the Sun with the huge lead here as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Alyssa Thomas has been everywhere on the floor, doing it all. And that beautiful move, one of the highlights of a good third quarter for the Sun. Well, Kim, the last time that the Sun were in this building, it was a win against Las Vegas, and that got Alyssa Thomas going on what has become a great streak. A double-double that day against Las Vegas. She put up some good numbers on a 2-1 road trip for the Connecticut Sun, and Alyssa Thomas still rolling here tonight against Dallas.
She's just a consistent factor, a dependable force on the floor who does so many different things for this Connecticut Sun team and is such a matchup problem for opponents. And tonight, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. So far, we'll see if her day is done here with a big lead. But Alyssa Thomas, another big night.
Megan Gustafson misfires, and the Connecticut Sun bench is going to get a chance to close this game out. Rachel Banham, there's a three, and it's good. Welcome back, Rachel. Brian Agler very upset with his team's defensive effort that time down. Rachel Banham gets open for the three, and Brian Agler calls for the full timeout. So we'll take a break as well. The Sun lead it by 30 at the Mohegan.
Welcome back to Mohegan Sun Arena. Just a few days ago, Jonquil Jones released a personal transcript on the Players Tribune titled "Bored Woman Gets Paid," telling the story of her journey from the Bahamas to the WNBA. She said at the age of 12, she told her mom she had a master plan: go to high school in the States, play college basketball, and then go pro. At 14 years old, she left the island alone to pursue her dream of becoming a professional athlete. She included details of growing up on the entire island, and this summer she found herself standing in Las Vegas staring at a billboard alongside her mom saying that she made it. To read this article, you can follow us at our social channels at Connecticut Sun. Bob?
Thank you, Robin. Certainly a must-read in the Players Tribune. Jonquil Jones having another sensational night that is probably over. 22 points for her and 7 rebounds. And Robin mentioned earlier in the broadcast that Jonquil is raising money for her native Bahamas after the destruction wrought there by Hurricane Dorian. Gustafson, the three-pointer, is good. You go to GoFundMe, and Jonquil has set up a page. She's hoping to raise $50,000 for hurricane relief. She has contributed $10,000 of her own money. And right now the total is over $20,000. Would certainly be worthwhile.
Wow, and yeah, we were talking to Kurt Miller, and he said it's been tough for her, no doubt. I mean, just for us seeing these images is tough, and then for her to have family there and just see an island in destruction, it's got to be hard to keep your focus on the court during a time like this.
Well, Agumbawale's point total continues to pile up. She now has 26. She may be on her way to another 30-point game. An offensive foul there on Brianna Jones leads to a Kurt Miller timeout. We'll talk things over here early in the fourth quarter. The Sun in control. Kurt Miller calling for a timeout here early in the fourth quarter of what is a blowout so far for the Sun. And Kim probably had a message for his bench right there, his bench players.
A lot of teaching moments going on right now. He's holding a high standard, no matter what the score is, no matter who's in the game, and he wants to know that he can trust these reserves when he needs to put them in a big moment in a playoff game.
And he wants to rest his starters the rest of the way. Agumbawale in traffic. She has 26 points. Trying to get 30 for the third consecutive game. And Banham stepped on the sideline. Goes back to Dallas.
You have to respect Arike Agumbawale because the minutes she plays are enormous, closing in on over 30 minutes now, almost has played every minute of this game, and it just continues to be relentless on the offensive attack.
Brianna Jones, the foul of Gustafson, and Gustafson will go to the line for a old-fashioned three-point play opportunity. So 8 straight points now for Dallas against the Connecticut reserves.
Kurt Miller head in his hands right now, just no communication on that screen. Agumbawale able to throw it over the entire top of the Sun defense from way beyond the three-point line.
So the 30-point lead is 21. With under 8 to go in the game, and Holmes turns it over. Here comes Dallas. Agumbawale stutter stepping, driving, delivering. Ball for the mark. Heidemann, good pass to Holmes. Lays it through. Dangerous pass, right on the money.
And that was a textbook 2-on-1 break. Heidemann using her wheels right up along that left sideline, and a one-handed cross-court pass beautifully placed in the hands of Bria Holmes.
Nigwe at Jones. Held her ground. Heidemann, feathery touch. Passes ahead. Banham launches the three. Who's going to grab it? It's Tuck in traffic. Reset Sun. Holmes thought about it. Takes some time off of the clock. 7 to go in the game. Heidemann. Bullet pass. Jones corrals it and lays it through. Nice play by Brianna Jones. Heidemann set her up, and Jones showing some good hands there.
And it seems every time Natisha Heidemann comes into the game, good things happen. She makes incredible passes. She sets up her teammates. She leads the break this time. Reading the screen. Looks like she's going to kick it out to Tuck, and then a one-handed lefty pass. I don't know how she even got that one into Brianna Jones, who nearly wasn't ready to handle that pass. Got it at the last minute.
Meanwhile, lack of focus from Agumbawale. An 8-second violation gives the ball back to Connecticut. Tuck a three. It's good. Well, the Sun have responded. These reserves have answered back after the Wings had fashioned a 9-0 run. The Sun have scored the last 7. Gray lays it through.
These are the defensive breakdowns that will continue to frustrate Kurt Miller. They just let a Dallas Wings player go right through all 5 defenders with nobody stepping in to help.
Gumbawale driving at Bantam, pulling back. Loose ball foul. It's going to be a Connecticut hole. Let's see what they've got. It's going to be on top. Timeout called by Brian Agler, and gives Kurt Miller another opportunity here to coach up these reserves. 5:52 remaining. Sun on their way to another victory here inside the Mohegan Sun. They'll be 15-1 at home, and the Sun, if they win out, can match the second best record in the history of the franchise. The Connecticut Sun teams of 05 and 06 were 26-8. The Sun, if they went out, would be 25-9. Just saw a shot on the bench of Marike Agumbawale, and we've been documenting throughout the game, Kim, what she's been doing lately, and she is doing it again tonight. Her team is trailing big to the Connecticut Sun, but she has 26 points in this game, so she has a chance for her 3rd consecutive 30-point game, and it would be her 4th 30-point game of the season. No rookie in the history of this league has had as many as 4 30-point games in a single year.
There's just been no let-up, as we're seeing individually in this game. She always has her foot on the pedal, and to be a rookie and to take over a point guard spot is not easy. I think I saw a tweet from Skylar Diggins-Smith making this point in her case that Arike should be Rookie of the Year. She, as a point guard herself, was saying that's the toughest position in the league to come in and learn as a rookie. And Arike has done that seamlessly, and she hasn't had the pieces around her because of injuries, but I don't think you can let that take away from the numbers she has put up.
Gustafson with 5 to shoot, let it fly. Nothing but air, and it goes back to Connecticut. The Sun are 22-9. They already have more wins this season than they did not only last season, but the previous 2 seasons were both 21-win seasons for Connecticut. But both of those seasons ended in playoff disappointment. Heidemann will go to the line. Connecticut Sun have been ousted in the second round of the playoffs back-to-back years by Phoenix. Kurt Miller providing social media with some more material.
Tisha Heidemann with the circus shot layup, but yeah, Kurt Miller is a social media team's dream. This endless GIFs, lots of reactions. Makes Robin's job a little bit easier, and whoever else is helping her on that team.
By the way, the Connecticut Sun team responsible for the social media post, sensational. Great follow.
I agree. Great content all around. Speaking of content, Rachel Bantam with the Bantam bombs. If you don't know, every game she photo bombs the official referee photo. So if you haven't seen those, they are hilarious. The refs are actually catching on. They kind of played into her hands with it tonight.
Alicia Gray hits the 3. Yeah, the cat's out of the bag on that one. The tip-off of the officials are all the photographers are now that home in. It was a little more fun when nobody knew what she was doing. Heidemann. Ahead for Holmes. Wrapped up by Gray.
How about the motor of Natisha Heidemann? We talked about Alyssa Thomas earlier. Natisha Heidemann just brings that same energy with kind of the two-handed shovel pass over the shoulder, doing whatever it takes, falling into the stands to get that pass up the floor.
Bria Holmes, 67% on the season from the free throw line. I'm sure she would love to see that number go up, especially here late in the season. And not that way, but Brianna Jones, nice follow. And some come away with a couple of points regardless of the free throw misses. And Brianna Jones, who has been giving the Suns some good minutes off of the bench lately, had 9 points in a win at New York on Friday. Lead is 25. Two to shoot, one. Another shot clock violation. What's that, about 3 at least in this game that the Sun have forced against Dallas? Well, the bench starting to clamp down defensively. Trying to finish this game off, giving the starters this entire fourth quarter off as Tuck puts up the 3 and hits it. Another three-pointer from Morgan Tuck. That is her third 3 of the game.
Morgan Tuck coming in off the bench, shooting it confidently. Heidemann has found her a couple of times, but she's been ready to knock it down. Nice, smooth touch.
Alicia Gray at 22 last time that she played here in Connecticut. Now has 13. The 3 made threes for Tuck in this game are a season high for her. Her career high is 4. Heidemann to Tuck, the reverse to go to the line to shoot 2. Heidemann with some fancy passes in this game.
Right. I mean, you see some players have a dunk package, a layup package. Natisha Heidemann has the passing package. I don't think I've ever seen so many different types of passes in one game.
Tuck misses the free throw. Earlier in this game, Courtney Williams set up 7 Sun baskets, 7 assists, a career high for her. Didn't Kurt Miller tell us he would be happy if the Sun could get their score into the 80s in this game? And they're going to get into the 90s or maybe beyond. Igwe misses. Heinemann, oh, great touch to Jones, who lays it through. More from the Heidemann arsenal of assists.
This is a highlight reel coming. I can't wait to see this one on social media tonight. Natisha Heidemann bringing the flavor.
Gray rattles it home. That ends a Connecticut Sun run as they had scored 8 in a row. Well, again, Heidemann finding Jones. Those two have it going right now, don't they?
Natisha Heidemann actually looking at her hand, I think, to see if it's actually on fire. She can't believe some of the passes she's making. If you look down for a minute, you will miss one of her beautiful passes. She looks in disbelief right now. She doesn't even know what's going on.
Let's see, Heidemann now has 8 assists.
And some of them she hasn't even been credited with because they lead to free throws.
Well, Agumba Wale is now 1 point away from another 30-point game. That three-pointer gives her 29. Heidemann setting herself up for the three-pointer. What a night for Natisha Heidemann.
Natisha said, you know what, I'm a little bit tired of passing. Let me pull up one time, and makes it rain. Straight cash through the bottom of the net.
Gumbawale with 29 points, backing up, and the offensive foul, and guess who she pushed off against? And the Connecticut Sun bench, which consists of all starters right now, is up and cheering. Here's Heidemann, defensive stance, sold it pretty well, and clearly an offensive foul. Gumbawale, who did not agree with the call.
Tell you who's enjoying this is Kurt Miller. He looks like a little kid over there. He was on his feet, hands up in the air, cheering on Natisha after that charge.
Well, Morgan Tuck is having a great night off of the bench. A great night for Connecticut. Everybody contributing. And Goombawali has it taken away on a frustrating night for Dallas. No match for the Connecticut Sun. The Sun very much in focus here as they try to close in on what would be a coveted goal of theirs all season long. Finish in the top two. It's the basketball version of the double jump and checkers. You get right into the semifinals by finishing in the top two. Heidemann, maybe another assist. Yes! As Morgan Tuck matches a career high with her fourth made three, set up by Heidemann. Another assist, her ninth of the game.
This is going down as one of the best passing performances I've ever seen. Natisha Heidemann on point, as Arike Ngubawale is, and she is over the 30-point mark.
She now has 32, so in the loss of Goombawale becomes the first rookie in the history of this league with as many as 4 30-point games in the season. But it will be part of a Dallas loss on a night the Connecticut Sun are on their way to a resounding and important win.
The fans didn't know it, but they bought tickets for the Natisha Heidemann passing experience and exhibition tonight. This has been incredible.
Heidemann surveying, taking it in the comfort zone right now. Bouncing and didn't throw it away because Gray couldn't hold on to it. Sun will have 2 to shoot. Connecticut over the century mark, 102 points and counting with 16 seconds to go. Heidemann looking, giving for Banham, heaves it up. Dallas has it. Gustafson lays it through. Now the Connecticut Sun can bounce it out. And Natisha Heidemann, who had a sensational night, will bring us to the buzzer. And that'll do it. And the Connecticut Sun taking care of business with a